Are there any specific tactics that you like to use to like clearly communicate with your employees, like messages you need to get to them, or vice versa? Any ways that you like help yourself, learn and listen from what the employees have to give to you?
Yeah, so I'm sure people say this all the time, but communication is a huge thing for me. And I'm also a big believer in I'm a big believer in conflict, but I mean that obviously in a positive setting. So if you're going to go up to someone and start effing and blinding and saying all this stuff, well, that's not constructive. But if you're going to go to someone and say, hey, listen, I don't agree with that, and this is why, and obviously in that demeanor and that tone, and obviously you can showcase why you don't agree with that in the hopes that you can come up with a solution, I think that's effective. I think it's effective in a team environment. And I don't know if this is something you guys would ever want to look into. I've spent a lot of time on it, but I'm a big proponent of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And it's basically like a pyramid, and the bottom of that pyramid is trust. And the only way you can engage in healthy, constructive conflict where you disagree with someone is you trust that person, right? Because otherwise you're going to go, you'll say to their face, okay, yeah, sure. And then when you leave the room, you go, well, that person's useless. It's like, okay, well, that's not one, you're talking about them behind the back. So that tells me you don't trust them. There's no trust there. And then 2, you just have not engaged in healthy conflict. You're avoiding the situation, which then is just going to make the situation even worse. You're not going to collaborate with one another, and obviously that's going to have a knock-on effect or be detrimental to your company, your organization, etc. So, anyways, communication. I'm very much one of those, like, I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you face to face, or pick up the phone. Like, it's, again, call me old fashioned, but I can't stand when people are sending an email chain of like 20 emails or texting, when it's like, pick up the phone, have a conversation, because those various means of communication, things can be misconstrued. People can read things a million different ways. Sometimes it can amplify the situation and make it worse, when all you have to do is pick up the phone and or go and obviously, look at this day and age with everything that's kind of transpired with COVID and pandemic and whatnot, and where a lot of our communication has to be through this medium. But I'll be the first to say, this isn't why my camera's up. My camera, for whatever reason, is not coming up, but I can't stand doing Zooms and all this kind of stuff. Like, I love sitting down with people and getting to know them and those things. So, yeah, again, back to your point about, communication. We can have all the bells and whistles in the world about, I can send this text, I can do this, group chat, blah, blah, blah. That's great. I still don't think it's as effective as either picking up the phone and or sitting down with someone. And that's something that I really try to instill in people. It's like, hey, instead of writing out that email, pick up the phone, have a conversation with them, because you'll get a lot further.
Great advice.
So